Shalom Yisrael. This is Yahweh from Israel Now Camp. Just wanted to make a quick video about the Most High's name and the Messiah's name. There's been a lot of talk, a lot of different things dealing with the Most High's name and the Messiah's name. So different people throughout the years have been asking about the Most High's name and the Messiah's name. So this video, I'm quickly just go into it. All right, I'm going to start with Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 58. And it reads, "If thou wilt not observe to do all the words of this law that are written in this book, that thou mayest fear the glorious and fearful name, Yahweh thy Elohim." Okay, now of course we see the words L-O-R-D there in English. In the KJV, whenever you see that in the King James Version, capital L followed by capital O, capital R, capital D. Most of the time the ORD is in lowercase. I mean, it's smaller, but they're still in caps. The ORD are still in caps, but they're smaller. Whenever we see that in the King James Version, the original Hebrew said Yahweh. Okay, the original Hebrew was written with 4 letters. The YHWH, or in Hebrew, is the Yhwh and Yahawasho. All you have to do is pick up a strong concordance to do that same reference. You'll find that it comes from the Hebrew word number 3068. It'll give you 4 Hebrew letters, and those 4 Hebrew letters corresponds to 4 different sounds, which is the YHWH. Okay. Actually, when you look at it, 3068, it'll look like this. It's the Yod, it's the Hey, it's the Wah, and the Hey. Okay. For the sake of this video, I'm not really going to deal with the modern Hebrew, which that is. I'm going to deal with the ancient Hebrew, because we also recognize that the ancient Hebrew is what a lot of our scriptures was written in, not in this modern Hebrew. This type of Hebrew, this type of script, was not in existence when our ancestors wrote the scriptures. When Deuteronomy 28 and verse 15 was written, this is how it looked. Yod, Hey, Wah, Hey. Hebrew is written from right to left and read from right to left. Okay, corresponds to YHWH. Okay. Now, first of all, we want to get into, before we go any farther, well, you know what? I'm just gonna, I'll give y'all the whole alphabet first, real quick. This is Aleph, Bet, Gimel, Dalet, Hey, Wah, Zayin, Chet, Tet, Yod, Kaf, Lamed, Mem, Nun, Samek, Ayin, Hey, Zadi, Wolf, Resh, Shin, Tav. So again, Hebrew consists of, let me grab my eraser real quick. Okay, Hebrew consists of 22 letters. These are the 22 letters here. Aleph, Bet, Gimel, Dalet, Hey, Wah, Zayin, Chet, Tet, Yod, Kaf, Lamed, Mem, Nun, Samek, Ayin, Pei, Zadi, Bo, Resh, Shin, Tav. Those are the 22 letters of the Hebrew alphabet or alphabet. Okay? So we're going to get into the whole thing about the Most High's name and the Messiah's name. All right. This name was actually used some 7,000 times, almost 7,000 times throughout the whole Tanakh. That's the name that was written every time we see, just about every time we see Lord throughout the Tanakh, Tanakh meaning the Old Testament, that name was written Yahweh with those 4 letters. The Yhwh, which is Y-H-W-H. And these are facts. All right. First of all, we have to recognize Hebrew has no vowels. There's no vowels in Hebrew. Now, what does that mean? I'm going to give you an example how you can read Hebrew. If y'all can read this, you tell me what this says. It says bathroom, but there's no vowels in there. It's the same thing with Hebrew. The exact same understanding. So vowels are not what they taught you. When we say Hebrew has no vowels, that means there's no vowels written. It doesn't mean they're not vowels when the language is spoken. There's no vowels written between each consonant. That's what it means. Okay, vowels are just the natural sounds that a person makes as you pronounce from one consonant to the next. Those are vowel sounds. Those are natural sounds that you make. The A, E, I, O, and U. Those are natural sounds that you make between these consonants. And Hebrew does not write those vowel sounds between these consonants. Okay? So that's all it means that Hebrew has no vowels. When it's spoken, it has vowels. When it's written, there are no vowels written in between. All right? Psalm 68:4. Everybody's familiar with Psalm 68:4, where it says, "Sing unto Elohim, sing praises to his name, extol him that rides on the heavens by his name." The KJV will say Jah. We recognize there is no J in Hebrew. I gave you all of these Hebrew letters. Not one of them makes a J sound. So the Hebrew actually says Yah, and it was written this way with 2 letters. The Yod and the Hey. The Y sound followed by the H sound. Yah. Okay? As long as you make a Y sound followed by an H sound, that's the Father's name right there. All right? What I go into, I want to go into a couple of scriptures dealing with this, because basically the thing is, a lot of people are saying that this name, which we can prove from scripture, and actually I'm going to show you archaeology first before I go into. Here's a couple archaeological supplements, which all the places that are underlined, you can clearly see the ancient Hebrew name, Yahweh, the 4 letters in those places, okay? And this script is actually ancient script taken from the book of Psalms, chapter 138, verses 1 through 8. And what you can clearly notice here is anyone that actually is familiar with the language, this language is actually Aramaic. But when the Most High's name is written, they didn't use Aramaic characters. They used Hebrew characters, or ancient Hebrew characters, not the Aramaic characters. So our ancestors gave the Most High the reverence, and they recognized that even though we're saying the rest of this in Aramaic, writing it in Aramaic, when it comes to the Most High name, we're going to write it in ancient Hebrew, in Paleo Hebrew. Okay? They didn't change it. The exact same thing here. This is from the Dead Sea Scrolls. This whole script is in Aramaic, except for the part that is circled, or that is in the square, which is squared off down there. Okay, that part is actually ancient Hebrew, but the rest of the letters is Aramaic. All right. So why did our ancestors do that? Why didn't they just change the Most High name and write it in the Aramaic script? They chose to stick to the Paleo Hebrew script every time they wrote the Most High's name. They recognize also, as all languages do, names do not translate. Words and ideas translate, names do not translate. Okay, now I want to deal with this part about, a lot of people are speaking against the name Yahweh, which, of course, this name, we just seen it here in archaeology. Most of the people are going by, just a regular KJV Bible or whatever. They'll use the Strong's Concordance. Well, all you have to do is look it up in the Strong's Concordance. It says that when it says Lord, it comes from the Hebrew word 3068. Hebrew 3068 gives you 4 letters. Yhwh, Yahawasho. Okay, simple as that. Any type of history research you look up about the name, you find the same thing, that this name was used almost 7,000 times throughout the whole Old Testament. Okay, so some people are coming up with the claim of saying that, this name is from Egyptian deity, and we shouldn't use that name in referring to the Elohim of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. It's a false name. It's from the Egyptian deity, but with nothing to substantiate that. So I'm going to go into this a little bit, and we're going to prove him wrong, which we just did in archaeology. Now we're going to prove him wrong in the scripture. Okay? This is how. Let's go to the book of Exodus, chapter 5, and I'm going to read verses 1 and 2. Because remember, the claim is what? That name, Yah or Yahweh, is actually a name of a pagan deity from the Egyptians. That's what they're claiming. Okay, now when you search the history, you'll find that the Egyptians had a deity, and that name, when you look at it, of course the Egyptians had many deities, but that name was L-A-H. You can't change the Y into a L. The name was L-A-H. Okay, the name was not Yah. Okay, I'm gonna, whenever referring to pagan deities, I will spell them or whatever, but the Most High gave us a command not to pronounce the name of any other deities out of our mouth, neither let it be heard out of our mouth. And he said to be circumspect to do this. Be circumspect means to be careful. So when teaching this video, we still obey the commandments of the Most High Yahweh. All right. So I'm going to go to Exodus chapter 5 and just watch the context of this. Because remember, they're saying that the name Yah or the name Yahweh was actually an Egyptian deity, and we should not use that name in referring to the Most High. Let's see what the scriptures has to say about this. Exodus 5, verse 1 and 2 says, And afterward Moses and Aaron went in and told Pharaoh, Thus saith Yahweh, Elohim of Israel, Let my people go, that they may hold a feast unto me in the wilderness. And Pharaoh said, Who is Yahweh, that I should obey his voice and let Israel go? I know not Yahweh, neither will I let Israel go. Now that's very, very key right there, and that crushes their whole doctrine, because they're saying that Yahweh is the name of the Egyptian deity. Well, they went to the Egyptian Pharaoh and said, Yahweh said, let Israel go. And Pharaoh, who was the king, the head of all the Egyptians, knew about all the Egyptian deities. He said, Who is Yahweh? I know not Yahweh. So that's substantiating the point that when they said this name Yahweh, the Egyptians did not have a deity named Yahweh. Or Pharaoh would have said, Oh, I know about that deity. I know Yahweh. He's one of our moon gods or something like that, or one of our sun gods. So there's the scriptural evidence right there that crushes the whole doctrine. Okay, so I'm gonna quickly go into the Messiah's name on top of that. Okay, so the facts of the name is this: the Yod makes the Y sound, the He makes the H sound, the Y is the W sound, and the He is the H sound. Okay, now if we take the Messiah's name, if we go to, let's say, the book of Matthew, chapter 1, anywhere in there where it says, it'll say J-E-S-U-S, well, what we do then, take your Strong's Concordance, look in the back of the book. It'll take you to the word number, it'll take you to the Greek. Once it take you to the Greek, it'll say it is from the Hebrew, and then it'll give you the Hebrew word is from. It's from the Hebrew word number 3091. Give me 1 second.